guess I should have started counting. This is when I need some background music. So I'm hoping that I can kind of guess, or I should have watched the timer on the video to see when my time started. But I want to give it 30 to 45 seconds, make sure that it's all bonded in fairly cleanly into place before I move away. Oops, let's just make sure that I don't glue my finger to the wing there. It's not fun when that happens. It can always be solved, of course, but it's not something you want to do. Alright, I think we're good. There we go. There's our wing. First wing. Actually, I say we're good, but actually as I look at it now, that's not holding that well at the front there. Probably just want to get a little bit more glue in there. Okay, well now I've put a little bit more glue in there. I'm going to have to hold it again, and I'm going to restart the timer. I'm going to probably edit out the waiting. You really don't need to just sit and watch me for 45 seconds, so I'm just going to stop. It's currently reading 25. I'm going to wait till it kicks over to the next minute mark, and then I'll edit that out of the video. Well, it was a minute. We'll edit that out, but it's actually worked perfectly. So now we've got a nice clean join there for that main wing. And what I'm going to do is I'll dry fit everything first, as usual with this. So let's get my lid on my glue. I want to have that glue dry out. So this is going to fit here into these two tabs, and that slots just nicely into place. And then the upper wing goes on here and basically slides onto these two tabs here, and if I can get that right, should just pop onto those two tabs, and at the same time the bottom end will click into those two spots right there. So what we're going to want to do when we glue it will be to make sure we get a bead of glue along the top of that spar and a bead of glue along the top of here, so that when that goes down, that actually glues onto there. So it's a little bit of a challenge because I mean this has to be, I guess it's a little flexible. I don't want to I'm going to glue that in place by putting a little bit of glue here in. Need my fancy glasses so I can see and make sure I get everything in the right place. So I'll glue this down, but I won't wait for that to cure before I go ahead and put the top part on, so that I get a little bit of tacking, but I don't end up with inflexibility, because flexibility while we're doing the gluing is critical, and we don't need the inflexibility until later on. So this is what we'll do. We click that into place, make sure it's more or less vertical, just wait for it to just quick hold a little bit. Okay, that's perfect. So now we're going to glue here, but we're also going to have to glue on the edge here, because if you notice that edge needs to actually fix along there. So we put a slight bead of glue just along here, and honestly in some ways I probably would prefer to be using the wood glue again. And then we're going to run a bead of glue along the top of this wing frame piece here. And we're going to run a bead of glue, and I think I'll do it along this edge here. It'll still be a little easier to manage than trying to do it on the other piece. Doesn't matter which way actually, honestly. So there we go. It's got glue everywhere I think we need it. It should be good enough to start, because what will happen is that after we put everything into place, and glue it down, then we'll be able to run some glue around other spots and fix it a little tighter if we've missed anything important. So I've got to get that tag into the slot there. There it goes. Alright, that's good. Got those on there. I just need to get this up against this. And that's interesting. We've got a gap here. That's okay. I can fill gaps. Gaps are fine. What's more important is to get these things in place and not popping out. There we go. It's the structure that matters first. Aesthetics comes second. So for whatever reason, there's a slight gap there, and I'm not 100% sure why, but as far as I can see, I've done everything right. So I'm guessing there just happens to be a gap, and like I said, I can fix that. I'll fix that with just a touch of wood filler on it. Honestly, you don't need to. It's not functionally required, but I think it would just look nice if there's no gap there between that main wing. So just wait a few seconds for that all to dry, and while we're doing that, well, you know, you've seen that the other wing's going to be the same. I think I'll stop the video there and finish it, and then I'll come back when I've got both wings in place. But how's that? Well, here we go. We have the wings. This is a biplane. This is the Sopwith pup, and it's got its wings. So we're well on the way to getting it in the air. Now, if I can just figure out, these things always confuse me with this one about which way up the cockpit goes, the cowling goes. I'm just doing this for effect. It doesn't really need to go on just now, but I just thought it'd be nice to show how that looks with the cowling in place. There we have it. There's our cowling. Our brown cockpit actually doesn't look so bad now. And so what I'm going to do next is put the tail feathers on. That is pretty much what the instructions say to do next, although you notice that we kind of switched out the order by doing one side versus the other side, but pretty much it was finish the wings. So now what I have to do is do something that, again, is a little out of order, but I did it this way. I did it this way for painting, which is that that it's time to put the hinges onto the tail, onto the elevator and its fins, and then the rudder. And the reason why I kind of did that out of order was because of painting. It had said to do it way earlier than this, and it just didn't make sense based on what I was doing. So that's fine, because now it actually it sort of fits into place. So what I'll do, and the only reason I've been able to figure out why these little things exist in this little kit here, this one little sheet of, it's actually kind of a plastic. The instructions say use paper hinges, which is really easy. It's just cut out a tiny little bit of paper and clip and stick it on to make up the tail feathers. But the kit comes with these, and as far as I can see, there's no other purpose. I can't see any other purpose for these. There's nothing else in the instructions that say use these, as far as I can see, and they just look exactly right for hinges. So I'm going to use them as the hinges. That's what it is. It feels like a kind of plastic. It seems to me that they'll be absolutely perfect. So I'm going to cut out, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, hinges, and put them on the fins, and then we'll be gluing those in place. So that's what I'm going to do next.